An average consumer is bombarded anywhere between 3,000 and 10,000 ads every single day. The human brain cannot process that amount of data. So the brain has learned to tune out all these ads. So you're throwing ads at the consumers, but they're not even noticing it.
This is CMO Insider, where you'll get candid takes from marketing power players. My name's Lara O'Reilly. I'm a senior correspondent at Business Insider, and I'm here with a marketing legend today. Raja Rajamannar has run marketing at Mastercard for more than 12 years as CMO, and now he's switching into the senior fellow role. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Much appreciated.
And I wanted to start with maybe a bit of an existential question for you, which is, why does Mastercard do so much consumer marketing? Oftentimes, when you get a new credit card or a bank account, you don't get to choose who your payments provider is. So I'd love to know what that involves.
That is such a good question. It's in fact very existential, right? For us as a brand, the key thing is when you are building your brand as Mastercard, you are a connector. So firstly, start with the places where consumers use their cards. The merchant should feel confident that when they see that this is a Mastercard transaction, that they will get paid for it. So it's basically trust and dependability and reliability. That's from the merchant side. Now from the bank's side, I have to build my image with the bank. That this is a very, very secure, safe, efficient, and effective network. And they need to see value proposition beyond just pure functional elements. But we have to make sure that we get enough into the consumer's mind that when a bank gives them that particular offering, they're very happy. So we don't call ourselves as a direct-to-consumer brand. We are a B2B2C brand, which is we are marketing as a business to other businesses which market to their consumers. And we try to fill this entire length of the chain.
Mm-hmm. And as I mentioned earlier, you were the CMCO, I should have said, at Mastercard for around 12 years. And I imagine you've kind of left the brand on quite a high, but there must have been some challenges along the way. And I wondered if you could talk through maybe like one big challenge you had and how you overcame it. Does anything spring to mind?
At the beginning, I quickly discovered that consumers associate Mastercard overwhelmingly as a credit card company. They say a credit card may make me spend money on things that I don't need and draw me into debt, or that they charge me very high interest rates. And that makes automatically Mastercard brand as a negative brand.
And you're a payments company.
We are a payments technology company.
Okay.
We don't do payments ourselves. So I said, this is amazing because we don't issue a single credit card. But you ask a normal consumer on the street, they say, yeah, Mastercard is a credit card company. Credit card companies are not good. So my biggest challenge was, how do I change that perception? So we started getting into areas where we were trying to earn the consumer's trust. For example, we launched with a program with Stand Up to Cancer, where we said that when we run some promotions and you as a consumer spend at a restaurant using Mastercard, we will pay a part of that, or we'll give a part of the profit that we make to Stand Up to Cancer Foundation. Started as a simple premise, but then it was profound. We raised almost $75 million so far for Stand Up to Cancer. And quite unbelievably, that group was able to get as many as 8 drugs through FDA approval, from molecule discovery to all the trials and eventually to FDA approval. We did this about 3 years back or 4 years back. I can't exactly remember. But Mastercard was one of the top 4 most favorite brands. So from a category which is considered to be negative to coming to be one of the top 4 brands in the country is a big deal for us.
And now a word from our sponsor, LinkedIn Ads, to talk about how to cut the bull spend from your marketing budget.
Marketing leaders today are under more pressure than ever to prove real impact and concrete business outcomes. I'm joined by Keith Browning, Director of Global Brand Marketing at LinkedIn, to learn more. What makes LinkedIn uniquely suited to deliver measurable business outcomes, especially in B2B?
LinkedIn is the largest professional network in the world, so we're built for this. We're built for B2B. So that means firstly, being able to find the right people. So, you can target by job title or seniority, company, etc. But there's also the professional context component as well. So people come to LinkedIn to learn, to evaluate potential solutions, and certainly to make buying decisions as well.
And over your career, you've been quite successful at kind of challenging some of the norms, some of the kind of the marketing playbooks or the marketing theory that people often lean upon in this industry. I mean, one example is you've kind of famously declared advertising dead. And you, at one point,
Yes.
you cut your advertising budget by 70%, which is kind of unheard of. Most marketers are crying
Sure.
out for more budget each year,
Yes.
not less.
I always think of myself as a consumer first before I consider myself a marketer. As a consumer today, do I like advertisements? I hate them. They are an interruption to my experience. I'm watching a beautiful video of maybe some animals in the wild, or I'm looking at some Bollywood songs, whatever it is, right? Suddenly, in less than 5 minutes, my experience is stopped and I'm shown a stupid ad that I don't care about. And then I'm looking at when is the skip now button appears.
Do you have an ad blocker?
I have an ad blocker, but ad blocker does not do the blocking of some of these streaming
I see.
companies, right? So, and if I don't, the choice is either I pay money to keep the ads out or I suffer the ads. What does it tell you?
Mm-hmm.
That advertisements are disliked by consumers. So much so that these platforms are telling you, hey, you know what? If you don't want these ads, you pay me money. That's like blackmail. An average consumer is bombarded anywhere between 3,000 and 10,000 ads every single day. The human brain cannot process that amount of data. So the brain has learned to tune out all these ads. So you're throwing ads at the consumers, but they're not even noticing it. Why would advertising be the right model for us to communicate? The need to communicate with the consumers doesn't go away. But the way we are communicating is not great. And if I'm getting some results, how do I know that these results are happening because of my campaign, advertising campaign? It could happen in spite of it. It could happen because the gasoline prices have come down and consumer behavior. So the attribution mechanisms are extremely weak.
And all the platforms are telling you that the ads are working, and
That's what they have to tell, right?
Yeah.
To sell more. But for us as marketers, we need to understand, is this attribution model really reliable? So I cut down my advertising budget by 70%. It is true till now. It's not just done once. We have taken permanently 70% of our advertising dollars out. Nothing happened to the business that is negative.
But you reinvested those dollars.
I reinvested those dollars into other areas like experiential marketing, for example, or new platforms. We started something called priceless.com. We have invested in other areas, and that actually has given us disproportionate returns. Now, for example, as a result of which, if you look at brand Z, in the past, we used to be at number 87.
So brand Z is a kind of a measure of how much consumers like brands,
they
right?
rate the most valuable brands.
Most valuable brands, right?
Right? Mastercard used to be the 87th most valuable brand. Today, it is the 12th most valuable brand. So we have been outpacing our competition, whose budgets were substantially higher than ours, big time.
Mm-hmm.
And that trend continues to date.
And do you think that's maybe why marketing has a bit of a trust problem in the C-suite?
Marketing has a trust problem for multiple reasons. Now, I managed P&Ls and businesses before I became a CMO. Now, in those roles, marketing used to report to me. And I would ask them, okay, your budget this month, $20 billion. Tell me, what exactly is it getting me for the business? Their answer is, my awareness has gone up, my net promoter score has gone up, my brand predisposition has gone up, or my reach has increased.
Right. None of those are on your balance sheet.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I want business results. I said, tell me, what is it doing either the top line or the bottom line in a credible fashion. Don't give me some marketing mumbo jumbo. I would get really impatient, right? And that literally like deer caught in headlights. That is a big problem. Marketers talking their own jargon, their own language, and looking at themselves as marketing specialists as opposed to business drivers. A number of CEOs were interviewed in terms of their confidence in the CMOs and the marketing departments. Shockingly, more than 2/3 of the CEOs have said they have zero confidence in their CMOs and in their marketing departments to drive profitable growth. Now, that's a disaster. The CMO role in many companies has been downgraded to report to somebody who reports to CEO.
To like the chief growth officer or the
Exactly.
CRO. Or,
Correct.
Right.
Chief growth officer, chief revenue officer, chief customer officer. Now, if you take away customers, revenue, and growth out of marketing, what is left behind?
Right.
right? It's really fluff. So the issue is that marketers did not market themselves well. They did not learn themselves the new things that are happening. And now with AI coming in, it could be even more devastating if these people don't quickly educate themselves, come on top. So some technologists will now be running through some bunch of agents the entire marketing department, which is not how it has to be.
So AI threatens those marketers, I guess, for myriad reasons, right? One, because the thing that used to be hard to spin up, you can now make 1,000 creatives in 2 seconds on Meta or whatever. And also with AI, I imagine that means the CFO and the CEO can very quickly kind of unpick these fluffy marketing metrics that they're being thrown at them. So what's a marketer to do, I guess?
So there are two things. On the one hand, AI is probably the single biggest threat, but it is also the single biggest opportunity for marketing to seize and regain control of the function properly. Now, AI, yes, you're right, you can give a prompt and it'll create 10 creatives, 20 creatives, 100 creatives in a matter of a few minutes. You might be a gigantic Unilever and I might be a tiny corner shop. Now, both of us give the prompts and we get the output. Your output looks exactly like my output. So what happens is the small companies are able to effectively now compete against the large companies. Before you realize, it becomes a sea of sameness. Everyone's output looks exactly the same. And because marketers are also...
And do you see that now already?
Oh, yeah, already?
Do you see it when you scroll through your feeds? Or?
You won't believe I was doing this exercise just about a week back. I was seeing how many campaigns are using iceberg as a mnemonic.
Right.
It was more than 100. Suppose AI gave you a particular campaign which shows iceberg. You accepted it, you ran with it. Now when I come in and say I want a thing, it will first refer to its training. It has learned something from you saying that iceberg works. It gives me iceberg. I don't know that you have run the same thing. I say, yeah, this looks good, accept it. Before you know, hundreds of people are using this stupid iceberg.
And then reinforcing it because hundreds of people are using it.
And the system is learning. Say, all right. So if this person asks for something like this, that a lot of it is below the surface, let me give you iceberg. Before you know, everyone is running with iceberg campaigns, which is ridiculous, right? Now, that is the biggest opportunity for marketers where, when there is a sea of sameness, original creativity matters. Innovation and creativity are going to be the biggest differentiators in this age of AI. Because at the end of the day, it is a human-to-human connection that sells your products and brands. It is not just efficient and effective communication by itself. The communication is effective because it is connecting behind the scenes or below the surface.
And now a word from our sponsor, LinkedIn Ads, to talk about how to cut the bull spend from your marketing budget.
LinkedIn's Cut the Bull Spend campaign urges marketers to rethink how they evaluate performance and where their budgets actually drive impact. I'm here with Keith Browning, Director of Global Brand Marketing at LinkedIn, to learn more. How do you define bull spend in practical terms?
So I'd say bull spend is really wasted advertising spend. It's any investment that leads to a great looking dashboard. So the numbers look good, the arrows are going in the right direction, but really it's not actually doing anything to drive the business forward. So it doesn't hold up to scrutiny.
How does LinkedIn help marketers reduce waste and increase efficiency in real terms?
At LinkedIn, you don't have to pay for attention from people who are never going to buy from you. Mass reach works great if you're selling breakfast cereal, not so much if you're selling CRMs. That's really where LinkedIn is different.
And do you think that's kind of why we're seeing more of a rise of kind of two trends in marketing? One being influencer marketing and kind of co-creation with creators, and the other being kind of live events and experiential in this kind of sea of sameness. We all want to be doing different things.
That's so true. So the rise of influencer marketing is basically influencer is working as a filter to me as to what I should even bother or care to watch. So you're utilizing that mechanism smartly. So influencer marketing, I think, will continue for some good time. Till such time, probably, that everyone becomes an influencer and everyone starts creating using AI, which is not too far down the line. The other part of it is experiences. Experiential marketing gives you the opportunity to immerse the consumers and tap into all their senses. I call it multi-sensory marketing. Tap into all their senses. Once you give that experience to the consumer will talk about it and becomes automatically an ambassador of your brand. And if you invest your money in amplifying the message of that particular ambassador to reach more and more people of that individual only, you will get a tremendous reach. And this was a big hypothesis we started with, but then it got proven extremely well. So much so that now a massive amount of our budget is behind experiences. And
Right. So you even have like restaurants,
we have
you
restaurants.
do live music.
There are 10 passion areas. For example, you have got sports. So sports is one huge ocean. Likewise, we went into music, we went into culinary, tourism, shopping. Each one of these areas, we curate experiences. And that has done a lot more for our brand than any campaign has ever done for us.
What's an example of a new skill that maybe you've only had to learn relatively recently that now is kind of table stakes for marketers in this era?
I wrote this book called Quantum Marketing 5 years back. And in that, I outlined that there are 24 technologies which are coming at us. AI is a huge one, but augmented reality is coming. Multiverses are coming. Even though they're going through their winter right now, they will come right back. Blockchains and cryptocurrencies are going to play a significant role, 3D printing and so on. So each one of these, you need to really understand them, not as a technologist, but you should understand it enough to see the possibilities. The rate of change which is happening is unbelievable. So for example, AI, every week, there is something new and something big that's happening.
There's a lot of overwhelm, right?
It's
if you're going to an event like Cannes this year and you're being pitched agentic this and AI powered this, how do you figure out what's real?
So I take the help of AI.
Okay.
So I go to AI and say, look, I'm being overwhelmed. It will do the filtering. So you don't have to be overwhelmed, because your point is so valid, Lara. Every single day, there are so many emails which are coming. Everyone is sending, the vendors are sending, and then there are news articles. And even if you subscribe to the so-called experts in this space, they have got tons of material and under which there are links that you keep going. It's a rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. When do you do your real work? I use Notebook LM. I like reading a lot, but I just don't have the bandwidth to read everything. So I give tonight whatever the material I want to be reviewed. And tomorrow morning, I switch on the podcast by Notebook LM. So there are two people who are talking very naturally, and they tell me everything I need to know. It's stuff like that. Or if there is a new book which has come, I'll say, hey, is there anything interesting in this book that I need to understand?
Well, I hope our listeners don't get any ideas and they listen to this from start to finish. No summaries allowed.
I hope so.
Just while we still have you, I wanted to leave our listeners with a little bit of advice, particularly people who are just starting out in their marketing careers, or also people who might be thinking, maybe marketing isn't for me. I know that there are some stats out there that marketing isn't the most popular degree course out there right now.
Sadly. That's true.
Why is there a good reason to go into marketing in 2026? So
I think if you are scared of AI, you should be very scared if you're in other functions than marketing. Because functions like finance, IT, even human resources, a lot of functions like payroll and all these things, they are totally automatable. And AI can do a fantastic job. When AI creates this sea of sameness for all companies, how do companies differentiate themselves and succeed in the marketplace? Marketing is going to help them. So this is the golden era that we are about to enter as far as marketing is concerned, number one. And if you want to see the world, marketing is by far the best. Mm-hmm. And lastly, I would say that there is always a joy when you see your thoughts taking shape in front of you. Marketers do it day in and day out. They're thinking up of a campaign, they release the campaign, and they're looking at the impact and how consumers are actually reacting to it. It is absolute adrenaline. If you're into video games and you're competitively playing against other, marketing is a live video game. Literally, you're playing with brutally aggressive competitors and with constraints, with all kinds of hurdles thrown in your way. It's such a fun space, and it's a real one. Basically, it's not just some abstract things that you're putting together. I think marketing is as human as it can get.
Mm-hmm. You don't get that in payroll.
No,
Raja,
absolutely not.
Thank you so much for joining us on the CMO Insider podcast.
Thank you again, Lara, for having me. Much appreciated. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this conversation, please do like and subscribe. And if you want to read more marketing content, news, scoops, analysis, you can go to businessinsider.com.